Welcome to the world of the door slammer, where all is not as it may seem. Here a scoop isn't for ice cream, but for air. Here a slick is actually sticky, and it's supposed to grip, except when it's meant to spin. In the world of the door slammer, good air is never good enough. It must be blown or boosted with gases to make things go. Welcome to the world of the door slammer, where you don't want to get caught looking out the window. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. On a beautiful summer afternoon, the International Hot Rod Association makes its New England debut at the first annual Caribe Sun Care Products Northeast Nitrous Nationals. Our first matchup, Dennis Fitz against Norman Estes. Estes already a winner this season. Fitz still looking for that first victory.
Well, Fitz, the local star from Norwich, Connecticut, and having a little bit of handling difficulties. Look at those two treads of rubber down the drag strip. Estes to an easy win at 695.
So the man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, comes through with a first-round victory. Our next matchup in the far lane, Bill Kuhlman from Wentzville, Missouri, against Rich Beaumont, another local favorite, Wallingford, Connecticut.
Well, the locals trying to fare well in this tough pro modified class, but not against Big Bill Kuhlman as he runs the Summit Automotive car through to a 692, 201 miles per hour.
And he might have hurt the engine. Steve Williford goes to the line in the car that Tommy Mooney took to a world championship. His opponent, Joe Fulgore from Colts Rock, New Jersey.
Well, while Fulgore is not a regular on the IHRA trail, we've seen him before. He is to be reckoned with, Bob.
In fact, these two cars very evenly matched in horsepower. Only 3 cubic inches of displacement separate them. Williford got a great start, but got sideways. Now he's going to have to try to make it up, and he won't do it.
Williford with some tire spin. Joe Fulgore 731, but look at this. Williford win a 761 at 200 miles per hour. The mysterious speed continues.
Now here comes Carlton Phillips against Charlie Garrett Jr. Phillips with the biggest engine in the class. 786 cubic inches, and he gets it done.
711, 195 miles per hour. Now that speed makes more sense. Look at this run one more time as Carlton Phillips goes through at a 711 at 195. You talk about close drag racing.
There's another look from our photo finish camera. Right there, Carlton Phillips got by. So Billy Huff will meet Terry Walters, Jim Revis, Joe Fulgore, Doug Kirk and Harold Denton will have at it, and Carlton Phillips will meet Todd Tutterow. When we return to Epping, New Hampshire, alcohol funny cars. Stay with us. Here comes Jim Lake from Meyertown, Pennsylvania. And the crowd reacts to this car, Ted, just the way they did to Tom the Mongoose McEwen's 57 Chevy Nitro Funny.
Well, they say the 55 Chevy is the second most popular car behind the 57, so it's not surprising. But what a guy to draw. The world champion, Mark Thomas, with the ethanol backing. That's a tough road to hoe for Jim Lake.
Jim Lake with that period piece in the background up against state of the art. Mark Thomas, two-time alcohol funny car world champion from Louisville, Ohio. Good launch for both cars. Lake bounces the front end, but he holds Thomas close. He won't get him.
Thomas takes the victory with a 611, 228, but a good showing by Jim Lake. Remember, he's pushing a box down through there.
Aerodynamically, you're right, it's an absolute brick, but boy, he really gives the world champion a run for his money here. Watch the left lane, there's the porpoising.
Nice driving job. He holds the car straight and true, though. And remember, when that front end comes up, he has no steering, so he's really set the car up well.
Elsewhere in the round, the #1 qualifier, Rich Fenwick, went up against Ronnie Taylor from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. In the right lane, Taylor with all kinds of problems, but he held Fenwick close.
Fenwick was supposed to win. Remember, he's the #1 qualifier. He does pick up the victory with a 651, 220 miles per hour. Leaving long black streaks of rubber all the way down the drag strip.
Bob Sweet from Sterling, Massachusetts went up against the Canadian entry from Larry Dobbs.
Dobbs has one of the mountain motors in there, 541 cubic inches of Keith Black power, but it wasn't enough. Bob Sweet picked up this victory with a 617, 229 miles per hour. He's in this race, Bob.
And our final matchup, an alcohol funny car, Paul Johnson from Massachusetts up against Scott Weiss. Watch the right lane. Weiss smoking the tires, but keeps his foot in it. Problems for Johnson in the left lane. Weiss even pulls the chute and manages to drag it across the line to win.
Weiss has to wonder how he won this one, but look at the ET, 644, 162, not bad for having all those problems.
Quarterfinal action in Pro Stock is on deck. Here's our first look at Jim Revis. A 91 Olds Cutlass, 745 cubic inches of Pontiac power for the veteran. Number 8 in points coming in. Going up against Joe Fulgore, who knocked off Steve Williford in the first round.
Well, Fulgore is not capable of sub-7-second times, but Jim Revis is. At any given moment, he can take off and run right at the top of the field, Bob.
Revis in the running for the World Championship. Definitely doesn't need an upset in the second round here in Epping, New Hampshire. Good launch for both cars. Fulgore carrying the wheels just a little bit. Now Fulgore drops back with mechanical problems. Give it to Revis.
Revis with a 721, 194 miles per hour to pick up an easy victory, as Fulgore did have problems.
Now here is the man that Revis is chasing in the points. Number 7 coming in from Middlesex, North Carolina, Harold Denton in the Party Time Pontiac. His opponent, just the defending world champion from Lenoir, West Virginia, Doug Kirk.
Both of these cars capable of winning at this point in time. Remember, Harold Denton, the first guy to ever go into 6s. However, young Doug Kirk is plenty quick.
Kirk second in points, but he's losing at half track to Harold Denton, and he loses the race.
Not surprising, Harold Denton, a 711, 196 miles per hour. The Ruth brothers have that thing humming.
There you see Kirk getting away very cleanly. I think he actually has Harold Denton off the launch pad, but somehow Denton comes on before they reach half track. Had him by half a car length. Let's see how close it was at the finish.
Denton had to have tremendous horsepower because he really got a gate job put on him by Kirk, and you can see he pulled him by a full car length.
And now here comes Carlton Phillips in this beautifully turned out Chevy Lumina with the biggest V8 engine ever built out of General Motors blocks, 786 cubic inches. His opponent from Louisville, North Carolina, this man, Todd Tutterow, with an 89 Pontiac Trans Am, 732 cubic inches.
Tutterow, one of the guys that came up from the old IHRA factory modified class, did very well there.
And doing well here. In fact, he gets the whole shot on Carlton Phillips. The yellow car in the right lane has Phillips at half track and beats him.
Todd Tutterow picks it up with a 717. Carlton Phillips turned a 713. Carlton was really asleep on the line with that one.
Carlton Phillips, winner of the Summer Nationals in Cayuga, Ontario, Canada, gets knocked off here in the second round. A big step up for Todd Tutterow, number 4 in points, and looking for a title. Now let's take a look at Carlton Phillips' run with the computers in our IHRA benchmark. Ted?
All right, down the left side of the screen, you'll be seeing the RPMs rise in thousands. Across the bottom of the screen will be the lapse time in seconds as the car goes down the drag strip. Carlton left the line at about 4,500 RPMs. You'll see the gear changes with the sharp peaks across the top of your screen. Also a problem in second and third gear. You see the stutter right there? That's something we don't want. Now, the drive shaft RPM will attempt to look at the tire spin. He leaves the line at just over 1,000 RPMs. You'll see a little bit of tire spin at 1.5 seconds and a little bit up there at about 3 seconds. Other than that, he had a pretty good run. Let's take a look now at the clutch on Carlton's pass. At about the 1 second mark, it looks pretty good there. Again, though, in second gear and third gear, just a little bit of spin.
That's our IHRA benchmark in Carlton Phillips' losing effort. Now here is our final matchup in the quarterfinals of Pro Stock. Billy Huff leading the championship, coming in out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And there is his opponent, Terry Walters from Roanoke, Virginia, number 19 in points coming in, but he could be a spoiler.
747 cubic inches. That's a normal motor nowadays.
Walters has 747, 754 in Billy Huff's car. Good launches for both drivers, but Walters loses ground all the way down.
Billy Huff picks up the victory, a 7:14, 197 miles per hour.
By virtue of the quicker ET, Billy Huff will have lane choice in the semis against Jim Revis. Harold Denton will lock horns with Todd Tutterow. When we return, we will have quarterfinal action in Pro Modified. Stand by for more Door Slammer action. Ready now for Pro Modified quarterfinals. There is Norman Estes from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Twice a winner this year in Canada at the Summer Nationals and more recently in the Empire Nationals in Rochester, New York. And there is the Summit Racing Camaro of the man who pioneered the Pro Modified class, Bill Kuhlman from Wentzville, Missouri.
Well, Kuhlman capable of switching back and forth. It looks right now as though he's got the nitrous oxide engine on board. Because of the hood scoop, I don't think the blower is under there. So it'll be two nitrous injected cars.
The war continues between the nitrous boosted ranks and the supercharged cars. Both cars staged together. They are away. Estes gets sideways. Looks like Kuhlman has about a fender on him at half track.
Nice driving job by Estes, a 6:90, 204. Boy, was that a tight run. We've got to look at it one more time.
Both cars carrying the front wheels. Estes on the right in the yellow car, much more than Bill Kuhlman. And I got to tell you, I thought Kuhlman had this one drilled at half track. Let's watch it now as they come down to the finish. Estes just drives around him by that much. Whoa.
Both cars going over 200 miles per hour. It took a photo finish to decide this one.
Now let's get on board with Bill Kuhlman. Our onboard camera is clean, so we'll just clean off the specs.
You can see how calm, cool, and collected he is inside the cockpit of that car as he takes and wipes his eyes off and puts the glasses back on one more time. Now Beth Kuhlman telling him where the staging lights are.
Beth lines up Bill. This is our onboard camera looking out the window over at Norman Estes. Starter Jim Blakely looking nonchalant as Bill goes through the procedures. Watches the tree, looking up and down. This camera is mounted on his helmet, so you'll look in whatever direction Bill looks during the run. Right now, there's the tree outside the windshield. Now looking sideways at Estes. Holding steady. Here's where Bill had the advantage, and that's where he lost it.
Isn't that incredible what happens at 200 miles per hour? You see how quickly that car left.
Elsewhere in the round, Al Billis, a winner this year on tour, went up against Ed Burnley. And Burnley, number 31 in points coming in, as opposed to number 2, Al Billis, left Billis at the starting line.
Well, he had a gate job on him, but it wasn't good enough as Burnley had some ill handling problems all over the track. Finally had to shut it down. Al Billis on a cruise. He'll pick up the victory at 7:22, 197.
Now here is the man who has been everything in Pro Mod this year. A few last-minute adjustments on the Chevrolet Lumina Z34 supercharged car of Scotty Cannon, the Cannonball.
Cannon out of Lyman, South Carolina has everybody on the run. He's up against Billy Harper in this particular round.
Harper out of Paducah, Kentucky with a replica 68 Plymouth Barracuda. He's got Cannon big time off the tree, but here comes Scotty.
Incredible driving job, 683, 206 miles per hour, and Scotty took a nap. Look at that hole shot for Billy Harper. That's incredible that Scotty can drive around him.
Beat him by nearly 0.2 of a second, and that is an eternity in drag racing. Now here is the top-end charge of the Cannonball.
Well, Harper only ran a 7:03, and that's the only way Scotty pulled this out, Bob.
And only just, as you can see. Boy, this is close.
That much.
So Scotty Cannon will advance to meet Norman Estes in a battle of previous round winners on tour. Al Billis will have a bye run in the semifinals. Big crowd enjoying itself in the IHRA debut in New England. Let's take a look at the sportsman results, Ted.
Well, we had plenty of local stars on hand, and they gave the regulars a lot of trouble, except in Top Dragster. Larry Plummer, one of the IHRA stars in Top Dragster, a winner, and in Modified, Ampito. Other than that, they were all local stars that showed the IHRA guys the way home.
Obviously, the IHRA has plenty of reason to come back here in seasons to come. The folks up here like their drag racing. First up in alcohol funny cars, Rich Fenwick, the #1 qualifier, will go up against Mark Thomas, the two-time world champion.
Well, don't count Thomas out yet. This guy seems to always pull through no matter where he qualifies. That's why he's a world champion.
Fenwick unranked in tour points, hailing from Northfield, Connecticut. Mark Thomas, number 1 in points, coming in looking for that third world title. Looks like Thomas might have him, and he does.
Wow, what a driving job by Mark Thomas. 615, 228. That car was out of shape, and Mark managed to straighten it out for the victory.
In the other half of the brackets, Bob Sweet up against Scott Weiss. Watch the right lane, jumping the start. Red light for Bob Sweet. Scott Weiss with an automatic berth in the finals against Mark Thomas. And by virtue of the quicker ET, he will have lane choice when he meets the world champ. It's Bob Varsha, Ted Jones, and Brett Kepner with you. Semi-final action in Pro Stock coming up next, featuring the number 1 man in points, Billy Huff, against number 8 in points, Jim Revis.
And you know, Bob, the points are important for another reason. Later on this season, the top 8 qualifiers will be running in the Sunoco Pro Stock Showdown. The qualifiers, meaning the top 8 point standing guys, will run in an 8-car race. We'll be carrying that for you here on ESPN later on.
And a big chunk of change will be at stake as well. Billy Huff, youngest man in the Pro Stock field at this point, goes up against Jim Revis. Good launch for both cars. Looks like Huff with a bit of an advantage at half track, but I've been wrong all day. Not this time, however.
Billy Huff, 712, 196 to a losing 725, and Huff had him off the line by about a tenth of a second.
There you see that nice clean leave in the left lane for Billy Huff. Very little smoke. Watch the right lane, though. Jim Revis's Oldsmobile laying down strips of black rubber, getting wheel spin all the way to half track, and you don't want to give Billy Huff an advantage like that. Now here comes Harold Denton, first man under 7 seconds in a Mountain Motor Pro Stock. He'll be going up against Todd Tutterow in that beautiful yellow car in the foreground. Denton number 7 in the World Championship right now, Tutterow number 4.
Denton running very fast at this event. He has the Party Time Pro Stocker really honking, and Tutterow knows it. So Tutterow needs a hole shot here because I think Denton has more ET in the car.
Wow, Tutterow needed a hole shot and he got it, but he got sideways on the launch pad. Harold Denton sleeping at the line and loses.
Todd Tutterow, a 721, 192. Harold turned a 711. He did have more ET in the car, but look at that hole shot. What a gate job he strapped on Harold Denton. A 619 to a 488 reaction time. That's a bunch in a drag race.
Classic example of how you can go faster and quicker and still lose. Here it is at the finish line. Look how close. Todd Tutterow sneaks one out. One more look from the photo finish camera. It will be Todd Tutterow against Billy Huff in the final in Pro Stock. Huff will have lane choice, and he's got about 20 cubic inches on his opponent. Now it's time for semifinal action in Pro Mod. Here comes Scotty Cannon in the OnSat Cannonball. He will be going up against Norman Estes. This should be a great matchup. Both of these men have won before. 4 times for Cannon, twice for Estes.
Estes also needs a hole shot against Scotty Cannon. What more can we say? You can bet he's going to push that tree and push it hard, just like Tutterow did.
Estes getting better reaction times generally than Cannon, who had a .680 second reaction in the previous round. That's 2/10 off perfect, and that is a long time indeed. Supercharged car in the background, nitrous boosted car in the right lane, and red light for Estes.
Well, that's what happens when you push it too hard. He also got bent out of shape, so he would have lost anyway, but he didn't have a choice. Scotty Cannon, 676, 205 miles per hour.
Here's another look. Estes in the right lane. They stood toe-to-toe, and Norman blinked.
He didn't really have a choice. He knew Scotty had him covered. He had to try and push that tree and put a gate job on Scotty, and the big red eye caught him.
All business, Scotty Cannon, but a sportsman as well. Now here's the man he's talking about, Al Billis, who's on a bye run. He's going to have to really leg it if he's going to get lane choice. He hops a bit off the launch pad, Ted.
He needs a 6.767. He does not get it. 6.89. He loses lane choice.
Nice try, but Scotty Cannon knows those supercharged engines that much better. It'll be Cannon against Billis. Cannon with lane choice in the Pro Mod final. We're ready now for the final in Pro Stock. There is Todd Tutterow in the yellow machine. His opponent, #1 in points, Billy Huff.
Young Billy Huff, the real lion, an upcoming star in the category, has really had everybody talking. He started it last year. He's got instant lightning reflexes off the starting line and a lot of daddy's money behind him.
Nothing wrong with that. Good launches. Huff carries the wheels just a little bit. Tutterow has him. Now they're side by side, and it's Huff.
Billy Huff, another victory with a 7.12, 197 miles per hour.
And he was laid off the line by 5/100ths of a second, so Billy Huff did this one driving around Tutterow.
Both cars actually had a little bit of tire spin off the starting line. It was horsepower time for the big Sunny Leonard motor as Billy Huff pulled it out, going almost 200 miles per hour.
One more look from our ESPN photo finish camera. Well, that's the other thing about drag racing. These drivers always have more horsepower at their disposal than the track will hold, and that's where driving technique comes in. There is one more look at Scotty Cannon, who will go to the line against Al Billis, the second time these two have met in a final this year.
But Al Billis this time is supercharged, Bob. It's almost like running a different car. And Al Billis, for the premier appearance of the supercharged car, has been running some very impressive numbers. Not as quick as Scotty, but he's right there on his heels.
Ironically, Billis is using motors built by Jim Oddie up in West Seneca, New York. Scotty Cannon started the season with Oddie motors, but he has changed engine builders. This should be a great matchup. Good launches. Cannon in the far lane appears to have the advantage. Now Billis has to back out of it.
Scotty Cannon had it off the line all the way through. He picks up the victory with a 682, 203.57 miles per hour.
He has been consistent all season long. One more look. Scotty Cannon with his 5th victory of the season, fattening up that already massive lead in Pro Modified World Championship points. Ready now for the finals in Alcohol Funny Car. What a matchup. Scott Weiss against Mark Thomas.
And Mark Thomas has a lot of experience with final round appearances.
Weiss with the advantage off the launch pad. Now Thomas is going to have to drive around. Yes!
What a drag race. Mark Thomas, 613, 224 miles per hour. This is worth watching one more time.
By 13/1000ths of a second, Scott Weiss beat Mark Thomas off the launch pad. Thomas had to drive around, and he did by 31/1000ths of a second. This is a drag race.
613 to a 616, and that's exactly what it looks like at the finish line. Watch the photo finish. That's how close it was.
A great debut for the International Hot Rod Association at New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire. Ted Jones, how about a look at the points?
In Pro Modified action, Scotty Cannon has made matters worse. Look at that point lead over Al Billis and Norman Estes. Scotty almost has the championship in the bag. Meanwhile, in Pro Stock, things shook up a little bit. Billy Huff on top and tricky Ricky Smith down in number 5. Real unusual position for Ricky. In Alcohol Funny Car, it looks like Mark Thomas is setting himself up to maybe repeat with another world championship, but not if number 2, Scott Weiss, has anything to say about it.
I'm Bob Varsha. For Ted Jones and Brett Kepner, thanks for being with us. So long from Epping, New Hampshire.